Hello everyone. Welcome back in AI Talks. So in today's video we will discuss about ChatGPT and how we can use in our real life, right? So first we will understand from where we can access ChatGPT. So you have to open your browser and just type ChatGPT, right? The first link, just click this, and you have to sign in before, but I already signed in, so that's fine. So I'll tell you first कि there are three things in ChatGPT which you have to know before using it. So first is that you are using ChatGPT 3.5 currently. For ChatGPT 4 you have to buy a plan. So in ChatGPT 3.5, which is free, you have one is the main interface in which you can send message and get the response from ChatGPT. Second one is the left sidebar in which you can see the multiple chats. So like you can create multiple chats at a time. And then third one is your setting. So click here in setting, you can clear all chats together, right? And the data control, the security, right? So let's ask ChatGPT itself how it can describe itself. So let's ask what is ChatGPT, sorry, ChatGPT, and its use case, right? First you have to tell him what you want, right? Like what is ChatGPT and its use case. Then either you can separate it by comma or separated by the hyphen. You can set a rule. So like note key I am a first year student, right? Let's take an example, first year student, and so I am first year student, so tell me according, right? So that ChatGPT uh, 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 can't give you the output. It's like for a PhD student, like that. So specify your requirements so that it can filter out those things. So according to your requirement, right, it tells ki okay, hello there, as free year first year student, right? So I am happy to explain what is ChatGPT and its use case. So before going to understand ChatGPT, I'll tell you first what is language model, right? So the language model is like key how we can get output from computer using our language. Before that we use in numbers, right? 1 2 3 4 5. So we can convert into bits and then process to the computer. But in language, if I type something and computer understand that thing, that call a language understanding, right? So here are ChatGPT is a artificial language model, right? So artificial intelligence means that there are three types of computer learning. First is the machine learning, which is the broader terms. Then in under the machine learning there is deep learning, right, which is the broader. And then there is AI right now, it's artificial intelligence. And the AI, the chat gpt is an artificial intelligence language model and developed by the OpenAI, right? OpenAI is it's a company. So it's basically the model which they use. It's a GPT, the generative pre-trained transformers. So transformers, basically transformer discovered by Google. Then they implement this model on their specific use case and create some generative pre-trained transformer model. So okay, so what its component, let's break one by one. So as I described, what is artificial intelligence. So basically AI is a science of creating machines that can perform tasks, like as I said how I can get output from a computer. Then there is a language model in AI, right? So the language models are the AI model which is specially trained or understand generate human language, right? So what is training means, so let's say if I want to understand what is kinetics or what is velocity, what is mass, right? I have 3 4 options. First I can go to Google and just search, right? And there I find information. Then I can ask teacher, I can read in book or article, right? That's how we train ourselves for a particular thing. Same as if I want to train a model, train a computer. So let's understand AI is a newborn baby, right? If I want to train that baby what is the AI, so I have to tell him first ABCD, right? Then some grammars, then what is computer language, right? So that's how I train. That same in AI also, in language model also, we train a computer model which is blank to provide what we want from a computer, right? So for that I have to train a model on that particular thing. Like for example, if I want a model using pharma, so I have to train the model on pharma knowledge, right? If I train him on the civil knowledge, then it will not explain what is pharma, right? So like that. Then there is a GPT, the generative pre-trained transformers. So it's a language model, but it's use a specific algorithm called transformers, right? Then there's a ChatGPT. So basically, ChatGPT use the GPT 3.5 model in the behind and convert your questions into a context output, right? So that's how. But in ChatGPT, we can continuously chat with the bot, behind model. In previous models, we can just input and get output. But in ChatGPT, we can conversation. Like I am just talking someone with WhatsApp, someone on WhatsApp, right? So that's the ChatGPT currently the use case. So this is the basically AI terminology, right? But in the real world, how we can use this thing, right? So someone is not that good in AI, so how he can understand, how he can use ChatGPT? So there is no need to you have to knowledge about AIs and everything. No, there is no need for that. You have to knowledge of English or your language, or how can you explain in ChatGPT. Then you get the proper context or proper uh, concise output. So like you can use ChatGPT in NLU, right? Neural language understanding. Like I want to translate something English to Spanish, right? So if someone has that language understanding, then he can transfer, or she can, or it can transfer, right? So that's how ChatGPT has that understanding. So if you pass the English, it will translate into French, into Spanish, UK, right? Everything. Then it can be a conversational agent. So conversational agent means ki, for example, if I have some problem with Airtel, right? So I have to call to the customer care, and that guy asked a lot of things, and I have to reply, and I got frustrated, right? But if I replace with a bot, so it will give you the concise output for the concise input, right? It will solve your queries. There is no human resource needed on that thing, right? And then the content generation, right? So for example, if someone wants to write a blog, he or she has to scroll all over the net, right? And get all information, then write a concise and not plagiarized blogs, right? But in ChatGPT you can create contents that are 90 to 90% plagiarism free, right? Then language translation, as I said. Education, like if I want to understand, so for example, let's ask what is force, right? What is force and its formula. But as you can see, I write wrong. I didn't write force. It's a force, right? But ChatGPT said assuming you meant force, right? That's how it can understand things or correct from itself, right? If you write something wrong, it will tell you, okay, this is there is a typo in your question, but I'll assuming it force, so I'll explain it. So there's a force, right? Then the force formula F and A, right? So this how someone in, like for example, a student, right, can use the ChatGPT to solve its problems, right? Then there's a creative projects, like in companies, for example, someone wants to automate things, right? So but there is not that much human resource available. But if he can, if the company put ChatGPT instead of a resource, it will give you it will it will basically increase the productivity also, right? So that's how we can use ChatGPT, right? In next video we will understand one by one, like in which sector or or what is, so basically there is one thing also, the thing we ask called a prompt. This is a prompt basically, right? So how we can write a concise prompt, right, so that ChatGPT can understand, like in below question I did mistake, right? So how we can avoid those mistakes and get the concise output. So yeah guys, let's meet in next video.